This update sponsored by Cantex Roofing. This is a First Alert Severe Weather Update.
Good evening, this is meteorologist John Robinson. We're going to bring you an update on our latest warning. We do have a tornado warning that has been issued, as you can see, in Motley County. It does include Matador and the community of Roaring Springs. We're watching and waiting on more information from the National Weather Service, but the storm does indicate the potential of developing a tornado tracking along Highway 62, generally at this point between Matador and Roaring Springs. So for folks in Matador and Roaring Springs, you need to be taking precautions now. Make sure that you're ready in case this does become a tornado confirmed and works its way towards your community. So go ahead and find your closet, your bathroom, your hallway, such as that, and you'll be able to seek some shelter in that. But at this point, still waiting for additional information. Now, this is Darty here, and you can see some hail there, but the concern happens to be in this general broad area here. We can zoom in a little bit there, Shania, if you'd like to. And if you look in the upper part, I think in First Weather, that capsule there may be a listing of tornado safety tips, and we'll review that in a second. I'll give folks a little update on what's going on with this tornado warning, though. Along Highway 62, again, that's where that general track is as of this point, and Shania will be bringing me additional information as she gets that. Here's the community of Matador, and I do see some indications of hail here, so I'm just painting a broad area so you've got an idea of where that storm is going to be tracking towards Matador or not, or maybe Roaring Springs. Typically these storms, and this one appears to be doing that, maybe taking more of a little bit of a right move, but just keep in mind it is moving mostly to the east. This is Matador, and this is a community of Roaring Springs. And I don't know if you were able to locate that graphic there, Shania. You can bring that up, and I will show you. I just want to remind you again what you need to do since you've got time to take action now. Remain calm. If you have our First Alert weather app, make sure you take that phone and take that with you. But if you're in a mobile home in a building, you want as many walls as you can get around you. Again, in the inner part of the building, that means closets and bathrooms, anything small like that, out of the living rooms, out of the bedrooms, unless yours are specially built. Closets and bathrooms are the best places to be. A basement, obviously, is an excellent place to be. If you're underground, you want to stay on the lowest floor, but obviously that's if you're in an apartment complex, anything like that. But if you're underground, you will be safer there. You've got time, it appears, so you want to make sure that you cover with pillows, find some blankets, coats, helmets. Bicycle helmets are excellent to protect yourself with, and mattresses as well. So again, this is a possible tornado developing in the western areas of Motley County, working its way generally to the east. So again, I wanted to remind you these tips. It's been a while since we've been talking about tornadoes. I want you to be preparing now. And we'll go back to Doppler radar, and I'll see if Shania has obtained any additional information, and we'll get you some more here in a minute. We'll check our chat with the National Weather Service. But here is that storm system west, a little bit of Matador at this point, in and around White Flat. It looks like just heavy rainfall there. And again, same thing. There may be some hail around the Darty community, and the storm actually, as far as the tornado warning, does not include Darty, but it does include Roaring Springs. And you guys could be in the danger area as well. So that's why I keep painting the broad picture. And again, obviously the polygon from the Weather Service indicates that's the area where the tornado could develop. And again, or if there is one, as soon as we find out confirmation one way or the other. This is a community of Russellville, southeast of Matador along Highway 62. And again, so we want you to make sure you're seeking shelter at this point. Have that KCBD First Alert weather app with you. And any additional information, we will pass that on. But the biggest thing is you may start to experience some very heavy rainfall initially, and also there may even be some large hail indicated. Several of these storms have already produced up to almost baseball-sized hail in some surrounding communities, so there's that potential of large damaging hail with this storm system along with that. And again, to the north up along the highway from 70 up towards White Flat, where you can see the potential there. Heavy rainfall, intense thunderstorm as well. I see, Shania, are you trying to give me a signal there? What have you got?
Yes, so the most recent message that we got from the Weather Service, they're talking about the strong rotation is actually 7 miles west-northwest of Matador. So I guess when we're pointing at it, look a little bit off to the west of the White Flat area. Yeah, kind of where that indent is that V signature really on radar is actually what they are referring to as where that specific rotation is. It does say though that, or the Weather Service is saying that it does seem like the storm is struggling to reorganize, so better news for us, of course. No reports of the tornado actually on the ground, and then that storm movement is southeast at about 10 miles per hour right now.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that, Shania. And again, general area where this hook appears at this point, and you can see the large hail, but you can also see a little indentation here. So that's why I was concerned about this broad area, especially with their polygon in that general region. So folks, you in Roaring Springs can probably relax a little bit, but keep in mind, storm could build a little more southeast. And if it's having trouble reorganizing, hopefully that means there will be no significant type tornado developing with it. But I do want you to be cautious. Remain with us, and don't forget the KCBD First Alert weather app. Take those precautions right now of finding that blanket, closet, bathroom you want to go to. Grab a flashlight as you will, as well, and also make sure you've got your phone along with you so you can keep up with that information. So anywhere in this area from White Flat all the way down, particularly along the areas along Highway 70 back to the north of Matador down into that community. That's where the danger is. You can see at this point some large hail indicated well to the west-northwest of Matador, some to the south and southwest of Matador as well. And obviously Matador was hit by a tornado just a couple of years ago. So just making you aware of that. I know you guys have got a very good tornado warning system going on at this point. Some enhancements made there. And if you notice again, notice that polygon at this point highlighting that particular area. Now Russellville at this time, you're not in a danger. You are in the warning, but the storm is still well to your west and even northwest, and generally well and northwest of Roaring Springs at this time. Community of Daugherty not included. The western areas of Floyd County not included. It's really the central and southern areas of Matador or Motley County we have to be concerned with, but I'm particularly concerned about Matador. If you live just north of there, if you live northwest of Matador, you need to be seeking shelter at this point. Don't hesitate. And with the folks in Matador, you need to get in your safe spot at this point. If you have a cellar, a basement, that is great. You also want to make sure you've got some surrounding walls around you if possible. And Shania's got some additional information.
So now the Weather Service just said that it does look like the circulation is tightening again, which would actually mean that the storm is beginning to reorganize. Remember, just about a minute or two ago, we were saying that it seemed like it was dying down. Now it's becoming more intense. That circulation is now 5 miles west of Matador. And again, they're saying that it's continuing to tighten. Also, John, when you're talking about the hail, the Weather Service is reporting ping-pong size hail being observed from Doppler radar, not from any reports on the ground.
All right, thanks, Shania. And let's zoom in a little closer so we've got a better range idea and we can show the folks in Matador exactly maybe where that storm system would be located. This is your general hook area here, and if you watch closely, you may see some rotation beginning to take place again. If it's, as the Weather Service says, trying to reorganize. So again, that puts it really still on a path for Matador, potentially if it drifts on a little further southeast down towards Roaring Springs. This is along Highway 62, and we can actually bring it in a little bit closer there, Shania. It wouldn't hurt. We'll add some additional roads if there's any small back roads or farm to market roads that would indicate anything different. And we can bring that image down a little bit, and that gives you, I know it's a very close image, but I just want you to give an idea. You got some rain now in Matador along 70 and also 62, but as you go back to the west, you'll see large hail Shania was talking about along 62 and a little bit further northwest of that. This entire complex still continues to work its way towards the community of Matador in Motley County. So areas behind it will be clear other than shower and thunderstorm activity. The folks to the south in the areas of Roaring Springs, you guys want to remain alert because you see the leading edge of that still generally on the curve of 70 as you go south towards Roaring Springs, and you're still, if nothing else, potentially in a path maybe of some hail, depending on whether this storm tracks east or maybe even a little bit to the southeast. So we appreciate the National Weather Service in Lubbock keeping us up to date on this. And I know there's storm chasers in that particular area, and I know there may be some from Channel 10 that are able to get down there. If they are, we'll be able to get some live feed on that or video on that, but we'll work on that shortly. But just make sure that you stay in your safe shelter in Matador and in the northern and central areas of Motley County and along this region here. And the track of that, as Shania adds that, shows that as close as it is, it's going to be in there in about anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes leading edge, and then maybe 10 o'clock in general. So this gives you that broad area of where that circulation is. It's not well defined, but unfortunately it's enough that they need to issue a tornado warning for that potential. And if nothing else, there may be wind gusts in excess of 70 miles an hour, which some of these storms have exhibited during the evening hours. So a combination of things going on here: the danger from the large hail, the winds over 70 miles an hour, the intense rainfall. So that's why you need to stay in your safe place, whether you're in Roaring Springs or in the community of Matador. And if you get that general circulation going on here, it's not as well defined a hook as you might anticipate or want to see with this from our standpoint here. But again, it does show it in that general area. We're going to take a quick zoom out, just a very quick one for the broad area. I know we have some other strong thunderstorms to mention for folks in Florida. Still a warning in effect there, a flood warning and a flooding area in that general region. Also a smaller severe storm well to the west there, now approaching western areas of hail center as far as coming back out again, and we'll come back in on the tornado in 1 second. But you can see some large hail still around, or at least west and northwest of the community of Corey, where that area has had some isolated flooding instances in this region between Littlefield and Corey. Be aware of that. A little further southwest, a very intense thunderstorm has caused some significant damage. Some portions of part Yoakum County, and particularly around the community of Plains. Thunderstorm coming in there. A weakening storm, but still potential maybe hail and strong winds moving into Denver City. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings. They are not a tornado warning. So we'll go back up again to our tornado warning, and there is a moderate thunderstorm headed towards Tahoka, and there is still a thunderstorm watch in effect for all of the South Plains until 11 o'clock this evening. So we're going to go back and show you Matador one more time here. And again, the tornado warning for the central and southern areas of Motley County, but the storm itself extending north from there. So there's still the severe weather threat anywhere associated with this storm as far as a tornado. Latest reports, and again, we'll see if Shania, we're simply watching and waiting on the latest information coming in from the National Weather Service, and that is west of Matador at this particular time, and west and northwest of Roaring Springs at this time, and north of the community of Darty. So this storm continues to track across the area for folks in Matador and Roaring Springs. A quick reminder, we'll just grab that graphic right quick if you would, Shania. Just want to remind folks what I've been talking about in the last few minutes, but if you're in a mobile home and building, you need to try to get out of the mobile home if possible, if you've got a shelter to go to. Otherwise, make sure you have as many walls around you as you can. If you're already underground, that is the best place to be. Go to the lowest floor otherwise, in a basement or a cellar, and then cover with pillows and blankets. Keep in mind, coats help, helmets. It's the debris with the tornado that makes it so dangerous, and also mattresses will help in this case. So again, make sure these are the things that you're doing right now. Shania?
And getting another update from the Weather Service, they're saying due to lack of light and torrential rainfall, any tornado approaching Matador will not be visible. So everyone, if you are within that Matador Roaring Springs area, you're not going to be able to see the tornado. So really just seeking shelter right now is going to be your best bet overall. As of 9:05, so just about 4 or 5 minutes ago, they were saying that that tornado was about 5 miles west of the Matador area. So I'll take it back to Doppler radar really quickly, zooming in on where that circulation is as of right now. Just really emphasizing that you will not be able to see this. Of course, you don't want to be close to any windows or be outdoors in general. Now, if you do have a storm shelter that you think you can get to within at least the next 2 to 5 minutes max, of course, want to get to that compared to being inside of a mobile home. But if you are in a more sturdier environment, definitely just want to follow those tips of staying away from the windows and ducking down, taking cover as this tornado is approaching. Again, you're not going to be able to see it. It's dark outside. We're looking at heavy rainfall associated with this storm. So just making sure that you are seeking shelter really immediately if you are in that Matador area. And now the Weather Service just gave another update. The circulation is nearly stationary, but it's still about 5 miles west of Matador. So again, if you are within the Matador area and you can get to a storm shelter, right now is the time to do it. Don't waste any more time. Just go ahead and get out there to wherever that storm shelter is, hopefully close enough to you to where this 5 miles west time frame is going to give you enough time. But the Weather Service is reporting that currently it is stationary. So we'll send it back to John.
All right, thanks, Shania. And again, I know we're repeating information there, but we just want to keep you up to date in case anyone new tuning in. And if you're on the weather app, you can obviously stay up to date on our First Alert weather app. But you can see again that circulation. There's very little movement in general with the storm. It's just barely getting up to Highway 70 right now, slowly moving along Highway 62. Some large hail likely with this storm, not officially reported at this point, but I know that's a very good potential. In addition to that, I've already mentioned the chance of winds maybe over 70 miles an hour. We've gone over those safety tips for you. This is not the time to be leaving your house or trying to run or drive away. You want to make sure you stay in your home. And again, you can tell from Matador that storm is just kind of stationary, and that has been a trend of a lot of these storms. The one in Plains over that community for quite a while. This storm has slowed down in its general east and southeastward movement, so that's allowing it to dump a tremendous amount of rain, potentially dump some very large hail, and it may also, not due to the fact that it's tracking slow, but it may just produce some wind gusts of 70, maybe even over 70 miles to 75 miles an hour or stronger, so it could be very intense. I'm just estimating. That's what most of these storms have been producing through the evening. With the tornado itself, we just have to wait and see if anything actually continues to develop with that, or if the circulation may begin to weaken somewhat as this storm remains stationary, and then the storm will probably continue to track east and maybe a little bit to the southeast. So for folks down to the south in Roaring Springs, you want to make sure you're in your safe place just to be safe because of that. And I will back up again, and we can zoom out a little bit there, the way this storm is moving, Shania. Folks in Russellville, I wasn't that concerned about it a few minutes ago, but obviously if you're in Roaring Springs, you need to be in a safe space. But due to the fact this storm is tracking very slow and maybe going a little bit southeast, you want to make sure you're getting outside now. If you got any items you want to bring in that could be impacted by hail or just strong winds, but obviously the concern would be follow those tornado safety tips now. This is the time to make sure you know where your safe shelter is. You need to be seeking shelters in those locations. Closets are excellent. Basements are terrific. Anything underground is the best place you can be in. If you don't have that option, you've got the bathrooms. Try to get an inner room. Get as many walls as you can around you. That's a key to slow down the debris. That's where the damage occurs from. And along with that, the very intense wind. So make sure in Russellville, I'd suggest you just be preparing at this point, since you are just in that line where that warning is in effect. So it may or may not be extended to the east, but you want to be prepared. And then anybody that lives in the areas of Matador, but also just to the east along Highway 62, anywhere in this general boundary of this polygon, you need to be seeking shelter, except for folks back west and southwest. For the time being, nothing is really headed your way but heavy rainfall and likely some gusty winds, maybe some hail. But the intense part of the storm, most dangerous part, right here in the general area of Matador, and still looks like there might be somewhat of a hook there. That's a typical fashion. You can at least initially identify where tornadoes are, in addition to the Doppler radar, watching the rotation of that storm. And you can actually see that rotation if you follow it there. Hopefully that will not develop anymore and will back off, and we'll just end up with hail, wind, and heavy rainfall, intense lightning. You'll still have some damage most likely in that area, as they've had in Plains from the hail there and the strong winds. But once again, just think of the fact you need to remain safe. Matador, you need to be making your way to the safe shelters in Roaring Springs. If you haven't, the storm seems to be slowly drifting in that direction along Highway 70. Folks, I mentioned already in Russellville, same story there. The storm extends out, but the southern portion and the western portion of the storm, not quite as intense near the community of Darty at this point, but you can see how intense this storm is approaching Matador. So it's important for you to remain where you are. Keep that KCBD First Alert weather app with you as well. Make sure that you can get inside a closet, a basement, a safe area such as that, and then you'll be better protected should this storm work its way into Matador. So the last reports we had, and that was a few minutes ago when Shania was on the air, the storm was still about 5 miles west of Matador, about 4 miles now, Shania says. So it is slowly drifting a little bit to the east, and as it does, continues to ease and increase that potential again, that you're awfully close for what's potentially a tornado impacting Matador and already impacting that surrounding area. Then down to the south, you can see how that storm is edging down a little bit closer to Roaring Springs as well. The rains and showers extend back to the northwest, up around the community of White Flat. Doesn't appear to be any tornado threat there for you guys along Highway 70 and White Flat, but again to the south in that region just south where you see the intense red, the darker red, the green, the pinkish purple indicating potential hail, and that's all near Matador. And you can see the intense lightning associated with this storm system, slow moving, rotating its way through Motley County as it makes its way through Matador at this particular time. Down to the south, Roaring Springs, you guys need to seek shelter. Should I say in 3 miles on that? Anything new there?
Really just looking at circulation about 3 miles west of Matador. It's still moving east at about 10 miles per hour. They did just about 2 minutes ago give an update saying that it does seem like the circulation is trying to weaken, but it's still present. So if that movement continues, it's going to go right over Matador. So again, still emphasizing to seek shelter, and that most recent update about the storm being about 3 miles west of Matador. So it's just edging closer and closer, moving slowly, so bringing heavy rainfall with it, hail being reported. You can see the lightning strikes up on our radar as of right now. Very intense storm system overall. John?
You're mentioning circulation there, Shania. That's an indication that there's no reports of a funnel cloud or an actual tornado has developed. We're still looking at the very strong potential of that taking place. We've got Matt Ernst up here now, so we're enlarging our team size here, and I'm going to pitch to him. I think he's got some additional information for us.
Yeah, and if we could go to Max 2, because what Shania just said a moment ago, this is what I want to emphasize is at 8:55, over on Max 2, you can see how tight the rotation, the red and the green coming together just a few miles west of Matador. That was when the warning was issued. The good news is, as the storm has moved toward Matador, we're still seeing rotation. This is still a rotating storm, and if there would be a tornado associated with it, it'd be moving into Matador right now. We are not seeing the same sort of bright greens and reds we saw coming together here. This was at 8:55, at 8:58 right there. The thunderstorm was rotating much more vigorously than what it is right now. We still have the tornado warning. I still want you to take this storm seriously, but the good news is anytime we can allay fears, like Shania just mentioned a moment ago, with the rotation, not quite as pronounced as what it was just a few minutes ago. At the same time, I did not see at any point here, let me step back real quick, any indication of any tornado debris being lofted. We'd be looking for blues, and let me just check real quick right here. At possibility of maybe that could have been a little bit of debris where the bright blue is showing up just to the west of Matador here at, that would have been at 8:57. Not certain on that, but we're not seeing any indications of debris right now. And the good news is we're not seeing the same level of rotation. Still the warning is in place, but comparing what we saw here at 8:59 to what we have here at 9:18, things are looking a bit better. It is still a serious storm, John, but that's the good news. We're not seeing the same kind of rotation that we saw just a few minutes ago.
Well, that's good news there, Matt. Thanks for that update. And as far as looking at storms, let's take a look at a couple of the others here, since we've got a little breather going on with this one in Matador. We still have some very intense and severe storms around the remainder of the South Plains. Down to the south, west of Tahoka, a new thunderstorm has developed there. Also southwest of Brownfield. Still some activity occurring down in Yoakum County over the community of Plains. Some heavy rainfall, intense lightning there. Brownfield, scattered showers and storms in that general area. And this is part of the complex that produced the severe weather, large hail and wind damage in Plains a little bit earlier on. And you can see east of Brownfield at Tahoka, scattered showers and thunderstorms there, still working their way a little bit to the east near the Tahoka community along Highway 87. Nothing threatening Lubbock in general. We do have a thunderstorm watch in effect for all of the South Plains, but we have the one tornado warning that we've been talking about now for about the last 15 minutes or so, and that is, again, is for the Matador and Motley County areas. Other storms up around Childress, some very intense and severe thunderstorm potential around Floyd, particularly southwest. When you see the pink areas, that's where you may see that potential of at least golf ball size hail potentially or larger with these particular thunderstorms tonight. That activity just east of Petersburg. To the north of it, some moderate showers and thunderstorms occurring there. And then back around Hale Center, things have kind of cleared up some. It appears a storm over around Corey and Spade is also starting to weaken at this point. It is well north of the community of Anton and then north of Beckton and Petersburg. So these thunderstorms tapering down. Hopefully that will be the trend now as we get into the latter part of the evening. But the tornado warning still in effect here and extending from west of Matador, north of Matador, down to the Roaring Springs area. Still potentially headed for Russellville at this point. It may just be intense rainfall, possibly some hail with that, in addition to the fact there may be some winds of 60 or maybe up to 70 miles an hour with that particular thunderstorm working its way along Highway 62 and 70. A little bit of a southeastward drift with that, but it is a very slow movement as it makes its way towards Russellville in the Motley County area. So you still need to remain alert, but it looks like the damage levels and potential for tornado development, I should say, are much lower than they were earlier with this particular storm system. So still some hail around Matador and southwest of Matador along Highway 70 and along 62. May still be some hail in that general area all the way down towards Roaring Springs. You have something new there? Thanks, Shania.
Just another update. We're still talking about circulation. It's about 3 miles west of the Matador area. It is broadening though, so another term also talking about it trying to decrease. It's still a very intense storm nonetheless. We're not saying that the storm has died down whatsoever. The warning, of course, is still in effect for the Matador area. It's moving southeasterly, close to around 10 miles per hour, so still that slower movement. But the good news is that threat is decreasing. So even earlier when Matt was showing that vortex and the circulation kind of dying down, not seeing those stronger greens on our Doppler radar scans, another good indication that we're starting to see the activity become a little bit weaker. Still a strong system nonetheless. Of course, you're still seeing the pink reflectivity levels indicating at least some very heavy rainfall or likely hail. Ping pong size hail was earlier what the warning issued. We haven't gotten an update of anything on the ground. Kind of also some good news though. We did say that there was so much torrential rainfall that you wouldn't be able to see it, but we haven't had any actual reports of rotation on the ground. All of these have been observed by Doppler radar, so still advising everyone to seek shelter, not out of the woods yet, not looking at anything clear yet, but all of the indications and data does seem to be pointing to some type of weakening, so hopefully this will not be reaching the ground. Definitely still likely going to cause some damage within the Motley County area, likely seeing some damage within the city of Matador as well, but not necessarily seeing that tornado on the ground as of right now. So again, they said circulation continues to wobble. Right now the circulation is about 3 miles west of Matador. It's broadening, so we're starting to see that intensity weaken. Latest movement is still southeasterly around 10 miles per hour, and the threat is continuing to decrease, but we are not clear just yet. I'll send it back to you, John.
All right, thanks, Shania. I sure appreciate that update. And again, watching that storm very closely make its way through Motley County, extending from Roaring Springs now, you likely have some shower and thunderstorm activity in there at this point you're noticing. But again, the severe part of the storm, strongest part of the storm, as Shania and Matt both mentioned that we've talked about during the last 15 to 30 minutes, is rotating generally in the Matador area, in central areas of Motley County, working its way to the east. So folks in Russellville, remain alert, but it looks like hopefully you will just get rainfall with this. You may get some very strong winds, still a potential for some hail with the storm, but overall, hopefully that storm is weakening and just bringing some much needed rain for that region. Matt?
Yeah, and John, you know, and we can look on Max 2. The topography, the difference of it once you go east off of the Caprock, driving like into Floydada, once you come right out there, the gorgeous drive through the canyons, much different terrain than in Plainview or in Lubbock, and that's why the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning, because this can be significant. The amount of rain that has fallen from these now couple of thunderstorms, the flash flood warning goes until 10:45. The sheer amount of rain, because these thunderstorms are only moving at about 10-15 miles per hour, just looking at the estimate of rainfall shows likely the heaviest rain has fallen right about from Floydada. It'll take a second here to update the estimated rainfall. Going from about Floydada roughly right to Matador, and a new severe warning just came out. We'll see, did have this plot just a second ago, but wanted to highlight where the heaviest rain was actually being depicted in Floyd County. The issue is, you can see it right there. That's the estimate showing potentially over 1 to 2 inches of rain in right on top of Floyd data, and then as you go east along 70, 62 toward Matador, that's where we're seeing the very heavy rainfall. The information from the Weather Service shows that flash flooding is possible from these thunderstorms. Could be anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain that has fallen, and we're not done with the storms yet. Going back to the current radar view, we have the first thunderstorm that still has the tornado warning for at least the next 5 minutes at Matador, but we're seeing a great intensification of the thunderstorm just southwest of Floyd data, south of Lockney and north of Cone, where we're seeing those pinks. We're going to have training thunderstorms going over the same location if it continues on this easterly track. So that's why the flash flood warning was issued, because on top of the immediate threat of, which has weakened a bit, that tornadic threat, the hail threat as well, the flooding threat across parts of Floyd and Motley counties into these canyons where the water can really stream quickly, and it certainly would not be a night that you'd want to go try driving through that. So definitely a flood concern now with the couple of thunderstorms in this area, John.
Thanks there, Matt. I know we have some additional warnings that keep firing up, and you may hear that in the background there. But again, the warning's still in effect for a few more minutes. Hopefully this storm, as Matt had reviewed there, is diminishing in intensity, but we do have the danger of the very heavy rainfall in that region. Do want to expand out our Doppler, though, with Shania and show you the other storms that, again, are still very intense and severe, as the one as Matt was talking about here. And you can see potential, maybe some hail there, some intense rainfall in that region, Floyd Ada. Little thunderstorm that's moderate here in the Petersburg area. It looks like at this point it's staying north of that community. And here's some of the hail trackers indicating the tracks of the hail over Floyd Ada. And again, you can see there will be indications there of at least an inch or more. Then as you go a little bit further east and you get along Highway 70, just north and northwest of Matador, that's where you get into larger indications of hail size, possibly 1 to 2 inches, if not some isolated amounts larger than that, but at least an inch to close to 2 inches. So quite a range in the hail with the storm track throughout this region, both this storm as well as the one that's made its way over into Matador. One storm here, well, there's still a flood issue, but it looks like this storm is finally beginning to fall apart in the Corey area and back northwest of Littlefield, generally south and southwest of that community in the eastern areas of Lamb County. That storm weakening. Hopefully that rain will settle down and things will dry out. Widely scattered showers here. None of these are even approaching severe levels, but moderate to strong just to the west and northwest of Tahoka. Looks like a pocket of heavy rainfall there. Scattered showers around Brownfield, west-southwest of Brownfield. Scattered showers, storms. Looks like that potentially might have had some hail in the Denver City area. We looked at that a few minutes ago. That appears to be diminishing, and then moderate to heavy rainfall in the Plains community. And again, earlier they had some isolated hail reports. It's not indicating at this point, but right now these are more current paths, most recent paths of where there may be some large, possibly up to 1 or 1 3/4 inch size hail northwest of Denver City back to the east. There might still be some moderate size hail there, but it looks like that entire complex is weakening at this point. It's not as exactly as strong as it was a little earlier, and we'll pitch it now to Shania. I think she's got a new update.
Yes, I have a new update and some good news. The Weather Service is planning on letting this tornado warning expire. So normally, if the Weather Service thought that there would be a continued threat through the remainder of said amount of time frame, they would have extended the warning, and they would have redrawn the polygon to account for other areas. They are not going to do that. So coming up within the next 50 seconds at least, we will start to see that polygon hopefully disappear. As of right now, they're just saying much weakened circulation, kind of the things that we were already touching on, where we compared it from 8:55 when the warning was issued to the conditions that we saw now on those velocity levels, and you could see that that rotation was starting to weaken. They are going to issue a flash flood warning likely for the Motley County area, potentially near Matador specifically. Besides that, really, that's the only thing they're talking about as of right now. Just some good news that they are going to let that tornado warning expire at 9:30, and the velocities have continued to weaken, so that's expected to be the rest of the trend with this specific storm going on over Matador right now. John?
Thanks for that, Shania. I certainly appreciate that update. And again, we've certainly had a lot of rainfall across the South Plains, and we can have some of those amounts for you tomorrow morning with Steve, and hopefully during the day tomorrow. But focus now, this is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Motley County, extending back to Darty and some hail just southeast potentially of that community. But generally, this system overall will be weakening. We hope that's the trend for all of these showers and storms. We still have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect till 11 o'clock tonight. We're going to zoom out at this point, and I may be able to return this to our newscast with Case if they're ready and get an indication on that. But you can see showers east of Littlefield. The cluster here, still a severe thunderstorm area from about Floridana over to Matador, and then down around Tahoka, back to Brownfield Plains, down south of that. Scattered showers generally decreasing in intensity here. Strongest storms here. Nothing yet around the Lubbock area. We've had some light showers, maybe around shallow water. A little bit further east, not a whole lot of activity there. Back to the southwest of Guthrie, moderate showers there. Now there's still a chance a few more storms could fire up, may intensify, but hopefully when it's gotten late enough in the evening, these storms will begin to weaken, work their way out of our region at this point. So if I don't hear anything otherwise, I will pitch this to Case and we'll turn it back to the newscast.
All right.